Now that we talked a little about climate action in the context of social movement, so how to organize social movements and why people want to become parts of social movements and approaches like teach-in, let's look at the role of leadership. Okay, Marshall Gans, this guy is amazing. He's a long-time organizer, and now he's teaching at the Kennedy School of Government, I think. Talks about leadership as enabling others to achieve purpose in the face of uncertainty. Okay, you can look at the COVID situation and look at the various leaderships in various countries, all the way from New Zealand, the prime minister there, how she dealt with COVID versus Sweden or UK or France or Italy versus US. All right, I think we know what happened there. And US being the richest country to have the highest number of infections and deaths is some indication of how leadership can work, right? Or can make an impact on situations. Okay. What are the things, what are the role of leadership? First, you need leadership when you face uncertainty. So economic uncertainty, something like COVID-19 uncertainty, war, could be famine, drought, food security, and so on and so forth. Second, leadership is not about doing something yourself. It is not about doing something yourself. It's about enabling others, right? And I myself, because of my own experiences with leaders versus managers, there are managers who also think they are enabling you. And managers can be effective in maybe increasing efficiency, making you work harder. But I would think my own opinion is that leadership is about inspiring people. Management is about managing people. You will see lots of good CEOs and directors and deans and so on who are good at maybe managing things, but they are not leaders. They don't provide a vision. They don't inspire. Okay, so it's about enabling others. And the third is that leadership helps others achieve their purpose. You not only enable others, but you help them achieve their purpose. Okay, their purpose. That's important here. So leadership means figuring out how to engage both the low-hanging fruit and the high-hanging fruit. So the analogy is that there are some people, when you're trying to organize or mobilize people and then organize them, there are low-hanging fruit, which means people who are already convinced that climate change is a problem and it needs action. And then there are high-hanging fruit, who are people who are either not aware, not paying attention, or openly skeptical or even cynical, but are they reachable? A good leader would reach the high-hanging fruit as well. The most successful social movements in history not only grabbed the low-hanging fruit and pulled people who were already motivated, but also figured out how to draw in the people who were not motivated at first. That's the key. What is agency? So there is another key concept in social science and psychology called agency. Martin Luther King Jr. famously defined agency as a person's own power and their ability to achieve purpose. Person's own power and ability to achieve purpose. This word I like, purpose, because there are many aspects to it as opposed to goals and aims and ambitions and so on. Okay, somehow I feel it's a bit deeper, my own opinion. If I have the capacity to achieve the purpose that I want to achieve, then I have agency. Agency requires both competency and autonomy. You have to be competent enough to achieve your purpose, and you have to have the autonomy. If you're able but somehow you are oppressed from doing that, you know why Martin Luther King comes in there, Jr. Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., amazing human being, right? Leader builds competency and enables autonomy. That's something we have to remember. Not all participation is the same. In fact, many movements make the distinction between mobilizing and organizing. Mobilizing increases the numbers, but organizing moves people up the ladder of engagement and cultivates their sense of agency, their sense of competency and autonomy to achieve the purpose. This is why I was trying to talk about what Greta Thunberg is doing. Is she just mobilizing people, or is she organizing people into doing something? That's some key thing to watch for over the years. Mobilizers reach only the low-hanging fruit. This is another key thing, but organizers reach the high-hanging fruit as well. Okay? These are just a couple of more formal ideas from COE and King Ham. I don't know, this is some organizations in the UK that looks at strategies for building power, strategies for building membership, structural models in support of strategy and the results. So it talks about the difference between mobilizing and organizing. So mobilizing just builds members by talking to people where they are, identifies and recruits them from high volume of prospects. It's literally like sitting in a mall and selling credit cards, for example, increasing membership to the credit card company. Centralized hierarchy and breadth of support. So here, mobilizing achieves breadth of support. It's a breadth of support, not depth of engagement. Organizing builds leadership by transforming the motivation and capacities of members to take on activism and leadership. Develop leaders who can engage others. Develop leaders who can engage others. Distributed responsibility, not centralized hierarchy. And depth of support. Okay? So this is looking at the underlying precept, rationale, approach, measures of success, support provided, level of guidance, and so on. So mobilizing, it maximizes action, but this develops people's ability, capacity to act, and so on. Okay, this provides, for example, technical support, whereas this provides training, teach-in, coaching, mentoring, and promotes reflection. Purpose, right? So members given the big picture and have autonomy in organizing, whereas members do as they are directed by the staff. So these are key differences, okay? This is from Hari Han's work as well, and I find it fascinating because this is something that I'm aware of, I'm exposed to before, but reading it in this context actually makes us realize just how important it is to build leadership for social movements, engagement, purpose, sustained action, and enable everybody to engage others. It's not like Greta Thunberg will tell you what to do and everybody does it. It's that there are many youth leaders everywhere across the world who organize their own movements at various scales and engages others and creates a leadership structure, not a hierarchical structure. Okay, we'll see what the differences in leadership structures are in the next podcast as well.